She raised 3 children, cooked tens of thousands of meals, attended every school play, every graduation, every wedding, held everyone together when life fell apart. Then at 75, she started eating dinner alone, every night. Not because her children were gone, but because they were busy. This is not a sad story. This is a true story. No one announces the shift. There's no argument, no falling out, no single moment you can point to and say, that's when it changed. It happens quietly, gradually. A Sunday call that gets shorter each week. A planned visit that keeps getting rescheduled. I'll call you back that never comes back. And one day, the parent sitting in that quiet house realizes, I am waiting. I am always waiting. According to a 2023 AARP study, 1 in 3 adults over the age of 65 experience chronic loneliness. The U.S. Surgeon General in that same year declared loneliness a full public health epidemic, not a feeling, a crisis. And yet, no one talks about this kind of loneliness, the kind that lives inside families, inside homes where love is still real, but presence has quietly vanished. Here is what most aging parents will never tell you. They rehearse the phone call before it happens. They think of the story they want to share. Something small, something funny, something that happened at the market or on a walk. They hold it in their mind all day, waiting for the right moment to tell you. And then the call lasts 4 minutes, and they say, I'm fine, everything is fine, don't worry about me. Because they were raised to be strong. Because they don't want to be a burden. Because somewhere along the way, they decided that their loneliness was their problem to carry. Psychologists call this the collapse of mattering. It's a fundamental human need, not just to be loved in theory, but to feel that your presence, your words, your existence matters to someone today, not in memory. Today. A 2020 University of Michigan study found that 57% of adults over 65 feel their children don't fully understand how lonely they are. More painfully, many parents reported feeling ashamed of that loneliness, as if needing their children was somehow a failure. That shame is the invisible wound no doctor ever treats. Now, let's be honest about the other side. Adult children today are not villains. They are not selfish. Most of them carry a quiet guilt that surfaces at 2 a.m. when the house is finally quiet and they think, I should call mom, I should visit dad. But they are squeezed from both sides. They are raising their own children, managing mortgages, navigating careers that demand more every year. Sociologists call this the sandwich generation. Adults caught between caring for their own kids and caring for aging parents, with not enough time or emotional bandwidth for either. And here is the most painful documented truth. Adult children, on average, underestimate their parents' loneliness by 40 to 60%. Not because they don't care, but because their parents keep saying, I'm fine. There's a term for what happens in many families: proximity without presence. The child lives 20 minutes away. They see their parent at holidays. They genuinely believe, that everything is okay. Meanwhile, their parent has been alone every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and counting. They are not bad children. They are distracted children, living in the most distracted era in human history. To understand this story fully, you have to understand what being 75 actually means in today's world. The social infrastructure of their youth is almost entirely gone. The neighbors they knew for decades have moved or passed away. Their closest friends, the ones who knew them before they were someone's parent, many of them are gone too. A spouse, in many cases, is gone. Driving has stopped, or will soon. The world outside requires a phone they don't fully understand. Their body, which once carried them effortlessly through life, now requires negotiation. Every morning is a small act of determination. Research shows that after the age of 70, a person's social network shrinks by approximately 7% every single year, naturally. Without active family engagement, that void becomes impossible to fill from the outside. So what do they do with those long, quiet afternoons? They stay busy to avoid feeling forgotten. They water plants that don't need watering. They cook full meals out of habit even when no one is coming. They watch television not for entertainment, but for the sound of human voices. They look at old photographs and hold entire conversations inside their minds with people who are no longer here. And occasionally, they pick up the phone to call you, then put it down because they don't want to interrupt. Elder care researchers have documented something remarkable and heartbreaking in equal measure. Consistent, brief contact, even 3 10-minute phone calls per week, dramatically reduces loneliness markers in aging adults. It lowers blood pressure. It improves sleep. It measurably strengthens cognitive function. 10 minutes, 3 times a week. That is all it takes to change someone's week entirely. And yet, it doesn't happen because we assume they're fine, because we'll call tomorrow, because the week got busy and suddenly it's been 11 days. What do aging parents actually want from those calls? Not advice, not life updates delivered like a report. They want to be heard. They want you to ask about the small things and actually wait for the answer. They want to feel, for 10 minutes, that they are not invisible. Many elderly parents keep a mental list, small things they want to tell their children. A bird that came to the window, a dream they had, a memory that surfaced while cooking. Most of those things are never said because the call ended first. The body, it turns out, cannot separate emotional abandonment from physical threat. The brain processes prolonged loneliness as danger, and it responds by slowly breaking down. Elder loneliness costs the American healthcare system an estimated $6.7 billion every year in additional medical spending. The bitter irony writes itself. Adult children who are too busy to call will, in many cases, spend vastly more in money, time, and anguish managing the health consequences of that silence later. A phone call is not just kind. It is, quite literally, medicine. These are not fictional characters. These are composite portraits drawn from patterns documented across elder care research, social work case studies, and gerontology literature. They are unnamed, but they are real. 76-year-old retired school teacher texts her son, "Good morning," every single day. She has done this for 3 years. Some days he responds, most days he doesn't. She has never stopped sending the message. She told a social worker once, "At least he knows I'm still here." 78-year-old grandfather drives to his son's neighborhood on weekend afternoons. He parks outside, a few houses down. He sits in the car for a while, then drives home without knocking. When asked why, he said, "I don't want them to feel obligated." 74-year-old mother stopped mentioning her health problems to her children 2 years ago, not because things improved, because every time she brought up her health, she could hear them pulling away. The calls got shorter, the visits didn't happen. So she learned to say, "I'm fine," and mean nothing by it. Her children believe she is fine. She is not fine. These 3 people are in millions of homes right now, today. While you watch this is not a video that ends in guilt. Guilt changes nothing. What changes things is action. Small, specific, doable action. If you are an adult child watching this, here is what the research actually recommends. Call without a reason. Not to update, not to check a box, but just to talk. Ask a question and let the silence sit while they find the answer. Mention something small from your day. Let them mention something small from theirs. Put the visits in your calendar the way you schedule everything else that matters, because it matters. Involve your parents in small decisions. Ask their opinion on something. It doesn't have to be important. The act of being asked is the point. It restores what loneliness steals, the feeling that you matter to someone today. And if you are far away, send a voice message instead of a text. Let them hear your voice on an ordinary Tuesday for no special reason. That ordinary Tuesday will become one of their best days that week. Your need for your children is not weakness. It is not neediness. It is not failure. It is the most natural thing in the world. You love them. You want them near. There is no age at which that stops being true, and there is no age at which that stops being worth saying out loud. Tell them, not to guilt them, but because they may not know. Because the research tells us they genuinely underestimate how much you need them. Tell them clearly. Give them the chance to show up. One day, you will reach for the phone to call them, and they won't answer, not because they're busy, because they're gone. That day comes for every family, every single one, and no one is ever ready for it. And everyone in that silence thinks the same thing. I should have called more. You still have time. Call them today.